Hello there, this is 24 News TV. My name is Ruth Ogo. On today's exciting episode of State of the Nation, we are looking at Osun State. Now, it's been a little over 2 years since Governor Adeboyinka Oyetola assumed office as the executive governor of Osun State. In that 2 years, the governor has received commendations, but he has also received criticisms. Now, a lot of people have commended him and they say that his administration has done so much good for the people of Osun State, while some others have argued this idea. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Education, and he'll be helping us look at this subject critically. Thank you for joining us, Honorable Jamiu Olawumi. Thank you very much for joining us today. All right, straight to our first question. Honorable, tell me exactly what you think about how well Osun State is doing in terms of education. Tell us about the policies that the governor has formulated as regards to education in Osun State.
First, I'd like to say that we are very grateful to God and to the people of Osun State who have given us the mandate to run and govern their affairs in the last 2.5 years or thereabout. And we also like to thank them for their patience for our party, which allowed us to review ourselves in the policy we had applied in the running of education in the last 10 years. We have reviewed all issues around education, management and delivery, owing to the report and the resolution of our people during the time crew visit or town hall meetings conducted by Governor when he assumed office in the 9 federal constituencies. And that is why we can beat our chest to say we are complying with UNICEF standards, World Bank standards, and global standards in management of education in Osun State. We have, as a result of that, started to enjoy the confidence of the people who are supportive to good education for the future leaders. For instance, ever since we carried out the reform, the policy, our schools have attracted about 600 million naira worth of infrastructural intervention from all students, associations of schools, governing boards, and high net worth people, including international donors, which were not there when the old policies was in place, because most of these stakeholders objected to the policy content of that period of time. But since we have reviewed, I think we are enjoying the best of relationships with all these people, high net worth people and other stakeholders. Then if you also care to know, I'd like to say that Osun State has also joined the League of States that have examination boards. Our examination board is saddled with responsibility of conducting internal examinations, issuing certificates, and other issues that has to do with evaluation and measurement in educational practice and management. Before now, Osun was not part of it, but about 2 months ago, the governor of Osun State, Mr. Oyetola, has graciously approved the setting up of the board in compliance with national practice in education management. So we now have a board for examination that can issue certificates that will not require further authentication by any agents or groups within the country. In information science technology, ICT, our EMIS, Education Management Information System, is one of the best in Nigeria. It affords our pupils and students opportunity to join classes online from any part of the world using our CSM platform, www.osun.csm.ng. On it, we have lessons already uploaded for revision, for fresh classes, and for which students can study, and also we can also assess students through it. So these are critical areas that a lot of states will struggle to surpass, to meet us, even not talking of surpassing us in this area. Currently, we are in the process of recruiting 2,500 teachers into our public schools, and the first phase of interview has been concluded, and we're looking at the second stage for teachers who are going to teach in basic schools. So we'll be doing that in the next 2-3 weeks, and we'll now do the cumulative of the examination, the recruitment exams, and the interview for selection purposes. This we have been assured by the government that as soon as we conclude this, presumably around July, August, jobs will start to be turned out from our table here to prospective teachers. And what we have done that is very, very peculiar to it, that for the first time in any part of Nigeria, we outsourced the recruitment exam to JAMB. JAMB did the recruitment exam through the CBT. Out of about 2,000 applicants, about 11,250 made the pass list. And we have started interview. We have conducted interviews for about 5,000 people. The balance of 6,000 will hold in the next 2 weeks. The import of this is that for the first time, teachers are passing through, are passing through competitive examination that will not be a paper exam that can be influenced by anybody, that could not be influenced even when the result is being processed, because everybody attests to the credibility and integrity of JAMB. In Africa today, I don't think any examination body is there to rival JAMB. So we have done that. And in the interview, teachers are being asked to do micro-teaching. If you want to teach English language, panels of interview ask you, I will teach this. You turn them into class, and you teach them for the assessment. We have also seen that certificates are just there. Some people could not defend their certificates. So it would have been a disaster if we had used just the recruitment examination to pick the best, those who scored the highest marks, to come and teach. Some people scored very good marks, ended up not being able to defend their certificate. We have been able to separate the grain from the chaff, and the future is assured for our students.
Honorable, there's been some complaints. A lot of people believe that Osun State is degenerating. And some persons have said it is because Governor Oyetola has made some changes to existing policies, or formal policies that the former governor put in place. Do you think that Osun State is degenerating as a result of the changes Governor Oyetola has made to these policies?
Which of the policies will you say was good? Is it policy on singular uniform, monolithic for everybody, that has increased insecurity, that created gangsterism and cultism because teachers could not identify which student is their student? Or you are talking about taking primary 5 to 6 to secondary school? Or no assessment, just ship them to WAEC? Which of the policies will you say? Will you say the policy of changing the names that are alienated the stakeholders from the school system? Or not having early childhood education that made UNICEF to leave Osun State and abandon the project here? People need to know. We have reviewed the policies relative to the needs of our people as requested by them for their future. Osun cannot be turned into a guinea pig situation that anyone will come and do experiment. And the next thing we are doing there, we are putting all these things into law, so that in the future, nobody can just come and start to do whatever he likes. Whoever wants to tinker with our education now, in the next 2 weeks or in the next 2 months or more, when the laws will be signed, bill will be signed into law. We'll have to go to the House of Assembly to defend his idea of what he wants to introduce into education. We are trying to fortify the system. We are doing that. And by the way, let me tell you, our government, our party has been here for over 10.5 years now. When we came in 2010, the matriculable pass rate figure of Osun State was about 11% when we came. And as I speak to you, the last WAEC, Osun have matriculable pass rate of 59%. So if anybody says the standard has fallen, the fellow is not looking at data. And these days, the data speaks. So we have done tremendously well, and the standard of education has improved here.
Honorable Sir, I'm going to ask you a very direct question. Do you think that Governor Oyetola deserves a second term in office?
Yes, one good turn deserves another. And a governor who has brought down the temperature of governance, who has brought peace, who have brought understanding, who have promoted inclusiveness in governance, who listens to people, who is calm, who is cool and collected, who is not making issues out of non-issues, who is paying salary fully, who has implemented the minimum wage, even ahead of states that collect derivation of energy money, crude oil money, who has also been kind to the traditional institutions, will not deserve the second term. Second term is even being kept in abeyance here. It is the people all over the state who have seen the integrity of the governor, who has watched his ideas and his movement and his style, that are demanding for a second term. The governor has never attended any of those rallies where people are demanding that he should run for second term. His eyes on the ball, trying to deliver on the mandate of the first term. And you may wish to ask that now that the INEC has fixed the election of next year for July 16, yes, even though INEC has announced the date, we are not going to be distracted from the good works we are doing. Currently, all inherited infrastructure have been attended to. Osun State government has spent over 5 billion naira on road infrastructure, including those inherited and the fresh ones. We have continued to do internal roads in state capitals and other parts of the state. We have been increasing the quality of our infrastructure in secondary schools. And security. If there is a state that we are judged peaceful in Nigeria, I think before 1, 2, and 3, Osun will be mentioned. So we have delivered, and we have brought down the temperature of governance. Nobody treats issues about Osun in the newspapers again, and everybody goes about his duty here in the state, legitimate duties. And if you look at it, we have also come up with a lot of policies that will say people should ask the government, the governor of Oyetola, to continue for another 4 years. We have instituted a youth policy that has taken care of the interests of the young people in the state for the first time in 30 years. This state had never got a policy on youth development. We have promulgated that. We have diversified into mining activities. And if you get to some parts of the state, you see the bustling of activities of people, artisanal miners, and engaging our people in rightful employment as against all the illicit actions you can expect from young people. Our polity is stable. And before the first 1 year of this government in office, we have constructed, revitalized, and equipped and fortified 333 primary health centers. No state in Africa rivals that. I can say that what we are doing here is what you say, uncommonly better governance that anybody would desire to have in his or her state. So if people clamor that Oyetola should run for second term, genuine calls. And I also know that the governor would not want his people to just grow this time and wallow into darkness of what the opposition party plans for the state. He will listen, and he will also run for second term.
A lot of people have observed that there is some sort of two-party system in Osun State. Some people have observed that the citizens of Osun State seem to be loyal to the former governor, and some people are loyal to the present governor. Do you think these rumors, do you think these misconceptions or conceptions would affect Governor Oyetola's second term in office?
First, let me tell you this. Politicians, if you look at the percentage of people in politics in the state, Osun has the population is about 5 million, as propounded by the National Population Commission. The number of politicians we have in Osun is not up to 250,000. I can tell you that Osun politicians, the people who do politics here, are not up to 100,000. What politicians are, they are conductors in transport system, calling people to come up on a journey. So that is what politicians are. Then let me tell you, we don't have faction in Osun. We have agitators. These are agitators of I must be in power all the time. If, like I'm in the office now, some people worked before this government came into power, and I'm opportune to be selected to be the Honorable Special Advisor to the governor. Don't forget, we started the struggle to reclaim Osun in 2004. Some people worked for those who are commissioners under Ogbeni Aregbesola. I know of a particular person who wanted to be a secretary to local government who ended up being a commissioner for 8 years. Some people worked for the actualization of the mandate, not only him. So he cannot say, he cannot claim to be in power ad infinitum. Power is transient. This office wouldn't have been vacant if it were permanent. You work, some people get selected to run government. They will also work, some other people get selected and they go and do some other things. Politics appointment is not employment. Even employment where you are going to spend 35 years or thereabouts in government service can even be terminated. So there are agitators who thought they must be in power always and all the time, as against some other people who should also be allowed to contribute their quota. And if by chance, after 8 years of Oyetola, some people also come on board, that is life. The only thing that is permanent in life is change. Whoever refuses to embrace change deserves to be changed. There's no segregation in pension law now. Nobody talks about teachers' pension. Pension matters is under the PENCOM law and is contributory. And when you do contributory pension, it's the first to come, the first to be attended to. You can't say because you are a cousin to the governor or you are a younger brother of the Honorary Commissioner for Education and you retired as a teacher this month, you take your pension next month. There's documentation before you take your paper, and other issues like certificate and all those things before you can start to draw it. So people should learn how to be patient and follow the rule. One thing about this government is we are not going to abandon anybody We are not going to, for instance, since the government come into power, we have paid over 30 billion naira pension. Last month alone, we paid 1.6 billion as pension, both to the contributory and the old pensioners. And on the average, in the state, we have been paying 705 million naira pension per month, on the average. We acknowledge the huge debt this state inherit, this government inherited, both in pension matters and salary matters, and we are sorting them out. You cannot expect a sudden flight because naira will not be there for the government unlimited. Resources are limited, but when you have a good manager of resources, people who are demanding payment should first rely on the integrity of the governor, because he has been paying and he will continue to pay.
Now, as a result of these speculations, do you see the emergence of a third party? Do you think that there is a possibility that another political party can win the governorship elections that is not the APC or the PDP?
The thing is, I don't know who are going to people the new party. Currently, you have close to 100 parties, political parties. INEC has reduced it to about 56. I think any serious politician should join one of the parties. So, in even advanced democracies, what you have many parties, but you have two dominant parties. Whichever way you look at, PDP and APC continue to dominate political scene in Nigeria. In the US, where you have the Republican and the Democrat, it is not that there are no other political parties. But the two dominant ones are the ones we are talking about. So whether another party is emerging or not, it is the headache of politicians like that and INEC. And the law, because the judgment of the Supreme Court about 1.5 months ago is very, very clear about what becomes a political party and the management of political parties. So if you have many, if they applied, INEC registers them, and if after the measurement already put in place by INEC, they no longer qualify to a political party, they get dissolved. So that's the situation. But there are going to be dominant political parties that are going to be, they won't be more than two. And that's the practice in democracy.
Honorable, is there a particular reason why Governor Oyetola has discontinued some of the policies that was implemented by the former governor of Osun State?
The review panel that reviewed the policies, chairman by Emeritus Professor Oluwaina. You have quite a number of scholars there. Professor Payo Banya he was even part of the introduction of Okmoimo. We have Professor Bilade, who was former Vice Chancellor of Taisola University of Education. You have Dr. Uwadai of WAEC. You have Professor Adeyemi. You have quite a number of people and professional body that reviewed it. Okmoimo was introductory step to digital literacy. And it served only as a textbook. Textbooks, fonts were imported into it. So when you want to read chapter 1, you go to chapter 1, you read like in books, in book form. But digital literacy has gone beyond that. People are now talking about live pictures, Google Class, U-Lesson, which has dwarfed whatever tendency or aspiration anybody has about Okmoimo. So Okmoimo is like living in the past, when you look at the digital literacy now in the ICT world. So since the panel has said we should put into another use, we will put into another use as soon as possible. The problem the project has now, you cannot have that huge number and don't have mechanism of servicing and maintenance of the hardware. If I were the government, if I were the governor at that time, I would not be introducing 35,000 tablets into school without having a plant where they can service. Because the company that manufactures should be able to come here and open a maintenance office. So if you want to maintain it now, where do you maintain it? It's becoming old-fashioned. So anybody talking about Okmoimo now, perhaps does not know issues around digital literacy. What we are doing now is EMIS that I told you on our CSM. And on CSM, there is inclusion and participation of parents in the studies and lessons to students. You want to use the Android phone of your dad or your mom to do your lesson. He or she knows what you are doing with his phone. And that is participatory. In the case of Okmoimo, it was not like that. So, an invention now, if not properly managed, becomes outdated shortly after because research and innovations continue with people. So the Okmoimo thing, there's nothing novel about it anymore. And this government will not waste money on what is getting outdated. It's outdated. We want to say that the government that introduced it, yes, it was a good direction in digital literacy. But that is not the end. Let me tell you the structure the transport system had then. They gave the buses to franchise drivers. A franchise situation is that you operate and you own later. The drivers were to operate, carrying students every morning and afternoon, collect transport fare. After a while, the government allowed them to own the buses. But even at that time, they could not break even. They could not, their income per day fell short of the amount spent on fuel. And the government would not add to the fuel money. You will agree with me that that program has died at inception. The second one is the quality of the buses. I know if you want to operate transport system, not that I'm promoting a particular brand, we know the best brand of automobiles in Nigeria, the Japanese. These buses have no spare parts. And it was introduced to eat up the political consideration for our 2014 election. The lifespan of the project. It was to satisfy the 2014 election agitations. And we got it. But quite unfortunate, the buses could have been applied in a way that is better than what they did with it. Currently, we are looking at it to refurbish them. And we encourage all student associations and board of governors to come and bid and buy it for their schools so that they can manage it for schools' extracurricular activities like attending inter-house sports, literary and debating society, and community service within the school. In the Ministry of Education here, I can say conveniently that we are on the same page. The Office of the Honorary Commissioner for Education and the Office of the Honorary Special Advisor for Education, the same page. Whatever you hear from this office is the exact thing you get when you get to this office. That is one. Number two, we have motivated members of staff. The governor has never defaulted in paying monthly salaries, minimum wage, before 27 of the month. They are motivated. As against the era when they were being paid half salaries. At least if they don't get anything extra, what is due to them is being paid to them. That's what. Number two is we have also met with our teachers, our principals, and other stakeholders. And we have raised the integrity of our teachers. Nobody does it. Nobody comes to our school to molest our teachers. Then immediately we remove the issue of single uniform and all other issues rejected by the people of Osun State. the confidence of the people and of the workers increased. And they are doing all those things that will require that will require to move the education sector. And when we have shown the way and they are following, our encouragement is that they should not falter. They should not go astray, because the future belongs to people who are working towards it. It is not a situation where, because I'm a student, my parents are not here. A lot of things you should be able to do for your parents, for yourself, and when you do that for yourself, you are building your own future. That's the first message. The second message is that they should eschew tendencies to go into cultism. Cultism is not good for anyone, and it's not going to be good for anyone today and tomorrow. Students should eschew cultism and brigandage, and parents, let us do more, because they are students, they are future. Let us cooperate with teachers. Let them go to school at the appropriate time. Where we need to do one or two interventions beyond what government is been doing, let us do them. The school is not the brick and mortars. A good school is inclusive of those things that make education succeed. Where you need to do intervention, you do it. Where you need to come to school early enough, you come. Where you must attend lesson, you attend your lesson. Where you must go to teach, on the side of the teachers, you go to teach. Where there's the need for assessment, you do the assessment and measurement. And things will run fine. And this government, we will continue to do intervention, because the government last year paid for over 500 white candidates who were indigent, but brilliant ones. The same thing this year, we have paid for close to 400 indigent students, outside those ones being done by high net worth individual community leaders who are giving us scholarship for WAEC and all those things for our students. The ultimate goal is Osun of tomorrow should be better than today. The difference between the public school and private school is supervision. If the private school, as it is supervised today, is delivering, if you supervise very well, the government, the public school, they will also deliver, because human beings are there. And the teachers we have in public schools are more qualified than teachers we have in private schools. So what Olubewo, as a program, as a project, is doing is inspectorate division, to raise standards, to correct, and also to motivate handlers of our children in school so that they can deliver and teach them well. So, and that is why I told you other time, we have raised the matriculable pass level consistently from 11% in 2010 to 59.6% in 2020. So that is it. And we have quite a number of vehicles now for inspectorate. But I must tell you, there was no single vehicle in the Ministry of Education before our appointment. Governor Itola has given us 9 just within a year. And that's why you are seeing what you are seeing.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Today, we have critically examined the policies of the current governor of Osun State. Come 2022, the people of Osun State will be going to the polls again, because of course we practice a democratic system in this country. The people will be electing another governor or keeping the current governor in office. Now, trust that we of course are going to be paying close attention to Osun State and reporting the stories as soon as they happen. We want to thank our very special guest for joining us today to discuss the subject. My name is Ruth Ugu, and you have been watching 24 News TV.